Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for joining me today. I am here to show you how to make this beautiful thank you card. My name is Linda Edwards and I am with Crafty Here in Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I really enjoy sharing ideas, inspiration, and product with you. So I hope you will follow along with me to learn how to make this card. I'm using the Timeless Arrangements stamp and die set. This is one that really caught my eye immediately in the catalog. It's got some wonderful sentiments. I love when there's a combination of script and print in all of these sentiments. The hardest thing for me was to decide which one I wanted to choose. And then there are all these wonderful dies that layer to make this really easy. Now, sometimes all this layering is real fiddly, right? Because it looks like there's so many different pieces, but I will show you some secrets to make this go really fast. It's really a great stamp set. There's also some embossing. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna move that over to the side and bring in, these are the all of the directions and the cutting measurements. And then these are the items that I used to make the card. So actually I'm gonna move that aside. So we did this card in my class, and it was really well received. It's really, I like the colors. This is just some smoky slate, some basic white, bubble bath, and soft seafoam. And I just thought that was really a fun, soft color combination that works really well. So we start with the card base with Smoky Slate. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And I go ahead and start by folding it and burnishing the top so we get a nice crisp fold. So I'm gonna set that aside. I'm also gonna use a little scrap of Smoky Slate for some die cutting. Then the next layer is the basic white, and it is cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm using 2 of those. One is gonna go on the outside and one on the inside. The one on the outside is going to be embossed. We'll do that together. Then I've got a piece of soft seafoam. This is just a scrap about, I think I said 5 by 3.5. That one's probably a little bit shorter, but it will work. A couple of more scraps of basic white for some more layering. And then the soft seafoam, I did quite a bit. This is about 5 by, well, this one's probably 5.5 by 4, but you really only need about 5 by 3.5, but you can use your scraps. So I'm gonna move that off to the side. I will have this information in the description of the video, so you can go ahead and check that out if you want more information about those items. And if you would like to purchase any of the items that I showed today, you can find me at craftyhereindesigns.stampinup.net. So I'm gonna move this away and let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start, I usually start with the stamping, but I think, yeah, let's start with the stamping. So we've got the, I really appreciate you, and this is a photopolymer stamp set. So I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat so that I got a nice crisp image, and I'm going to start with my sentiment. I really appreciate you. This is the die that I'm gonna be cutting it with. So I like to kind of get an idea, okay, where do I need to stamp that on my piece of paper so that I know how much room to use. I do want to cut it out so that the sentiment is kind of on the right side of the die. When we get to the die cutting, I'll show you. So I know I can kind of have this over a little bit to the right. And to get a nice crisp image, since it's photopolymer, as I said, I'm using the Stampin' Pierce mat. And then the other things that I need, I'm using this little, it's kind of like berries, I guess. That's what I think it looks like. And we're gonna die cut these. So I'm gonna just go ahead and stamp these like this on this piece of scrap white that I have. And I'm just leaving myself enough room so that around it so that I can go ahead and die cut those. So that's it. Oh no, on the inside, I do want to stamp on the envelope and on the inside. So let me put those aside. So my envelope, I've got this pretty little flower. We're gonna do some coloring today. So I've got this pretty little flower that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it kind of like that. And then I'm gonna bring back the berries. And of course you can use whatever is in the stamp set. You could certainly do this with another stamp set, but I'll tell you, the dies really make this really easy. And then on the inside, I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Let's go ahead and stamp. I'm using the Smokey Slate. I'm sorry, I had that off camera. It's the Smokey Slate ink. And since this is a horizontal card, I'm doing this. Since it's a thank you card, I am not going to have an inside sentiment. I tend to leave my thank you cards blank so that I have room to write. But there are a lot of sentiments in this set that you could use to add to the inside of your card. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color it, and I'm using the Stampin' Right marker, and this is the Bubble Bass. It's gonna coordinate with the others. So I'm gonna show you two different ways that you can color these. I'm gonna start with the envelope. I'm gonna go ahead and just use the thin end of the Stampin' Right marker to go ahead, and I'm just kind of dotting this. I think you can see that. I'm kind of, the small areas, I'm just dotting, and then just a little bit of a swirl on the larger ones. I'm trying not to go on the Smokey Slate. These are both water-based, so if I could smear it, so obviously I don't want to do that. So by just kind of dotting, it helps prevent any smearing. And then now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna lightly go, again, staying away from the Smokey Slate as best I can. I'm not really worried about getting every little bit. I kind of like the look with a little bit of the white showing. So I'm kind of just loosely doing this. So, you know, you might not have the markers, right? So what I'm gonna show you an alternative on the inside of the card. So there you go. So there it is with using the marker. And you could use the brush end, but I felt like it was so small that I had more control over the thin end. And you'll notice this is a new color, so our new Stampin' Right markers have a different tip. And you see that tip is a little thicker than the old ones were, so it works better. This is the soft seafoam, and this is the one that I've had. That tip is, whoops, there we go. That tip is much more pointy. It's not as long. There isn't actually color all the way in the tip. It's only at the very end. So it's a little bit trickier. Because this is really thin, it's fine. But I do like the design of the new ones. I'm not gonna go out and buy all the new ones, but because we had that color refresh, you can buy just the new colors if you've already got a collection of Stampin' Right markers, which is what I did. I just bought the set of new colors. Now, that's in this year's catalog. I'm gonna say they're not gonna do that next year. So if you wanna do that, I would budget for it this year. Okay, so another option, if you have the ink pad, but you don't have the Stampin' Right markers, which I did for a long time before I could afford to buy the markers, this is what I did. So I got a little bit of ink with a block on that ink pad, and I had to look for my glasses. And I'm gonna take, this is the blender pen. The blender pen has glycerin in it. That's what it is, glycerin. And it does have two ends. They're both pretty much the same. Let's see. I guess this one's a little bit thinner than that one. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna need a piece of scrap as well. Let's see. I'll just bring this over. Here we go. I'm gonna bring this, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lift up the ink from here. You can see how I've got the ink on there, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and color. I don't have to be quite as careful about getting the color on the gray because it's not likely to smear because it's glycerin and it's not water-based. So the color is going to be a little different, and you do have to keep reloading, but I'm going to show you both. So these are the ones that are going to be die cut, so I want to do them all the same. And then you can decide which you like better. It's a little bit of a softer look. I actually think the color is well, it's closer, of course, to the ink, which is kind of nice. I find that sometimes the markers aren't exactly the same color. It kind of just depends. Most of them are, but not all. And then you just keep reloading, and as you can see, it goes pretty fast. Here we go. Okay, so there, and so you can see they're definitely lighter than this one. So I wanted to make sure to do them all the same color so that on the front of my card, they look right. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I think, well, I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up a little bit more, and let's show you how it looks here. And I don't mind that it's a little bit different. You know, the front of the card or the envelope versus the inside of the card. I don't think that that's a problem at all. But this is a great little trick to use until you can afford to get all those markers, because that's definitely a pricey one. The secret with those is you wait until you know you want to order something big, and then you get them at half price. When you've got a big order, you know, if you order more than, I think it's $450 if you have a really large order, you can get your, you get 150% off item. So got to use that wisely. All right, so as you can see, I'm cleaning. I'm just on the side. I've got to use the side of the pen so that I don't blunt the tip. And I'm basically just, now I'm kind of looking at it just to see, oh gosh, just to see, make sure that all of the ink is off of there. And that's the end of that. So I am gonna just go ahead and use the marker to this little bit of green. Okay, so that's all of our stamping. And you can let me know in the comments, if you would, whether you have a preference for one technique versus the other, and how you feel about the fact that, you know, they do look a little different. You'll see, especially when I go ahead and make the card, the rest of the card. Okay, so now we're gonna do our die cutting. So I'm gonna move this off to the side. I'm gonna bring in my cut and emboss machine. And so the first thing I'll do is, make sure I have enough room here, is the embossing folder. So I need that piece of white here, and embossing folder is kind of buried. This is one of the, it comes as a set of 3, and it's only available online. It's not actually in the catalog. So if you have a catalog and you're looking for it, you won't find it. There are 3 in this set. It is a 3D folder, so it's thick. The other one has kind of a crosshatch marks, and then it's also got kind of, not really bubbles, but they're circles, dots, I guess. Yeah, that's raised dots. So I put that in here, always put it through with the folded end that goes through first. And then the only thing I need with it is the base plate. And here it'll show you on your plate, using with the 3D embossing folders, the base plate and the number 4 plate. And the embossing folder goes in the middle. So there, and I'm just gonna run that through. So I could have done all my die cutting with the small, the mini cut and emboss machine. I was going to, but the embossing folders don't fit in it. So that's the only thing you need to be aware of, is the embossing, the regular size embossing folders don't fit in the mini machine. All right, here we go. So now, let me see. Oh, I didn't bring over my other base plate. So I'm gonna do some die cutting. So I need to die cut that one and this one. So these are the ones that are die cut. And because this is really small, I am gonna go ahead and use a little piece of tape. You can use, this is actually Post-it note tape. It comes in a roll. I'm going to set that one, move that over. And I reuse this so that it gets lots of use. I don't like it to be too sticky because then it can stick to the you can't see that. Move that over a little bit. There we go. So it'll stick to the paper if you're not careful. So you do have to kind of tack it, de-stickify it. I don't know if that's a word. The first time you use it. So here is, let's see. I'll show you. I have to get the other base plate. So this is another one that I'm going to use it for the first time. I'll go ahead and put my fingers all over it so that's a little less tacky, so that when I use it, it doesn't peel the paper. So now, as I'm lining this up, you can see, obviously I want it straight here, but I also, I want it kind of centered, top to bottom, excuse me, but I also want it kind of over to the right because I'm gonna put a bow on the left side. So I'm gonna go ahead and line that up. And then that will go through. I just have to make sure that's not overlapping. I'll get a little funky mark on it. Okay. So it's okay if the paper's overlapping as long as the die isn't on both sides. Okay, sorry, I'm shaking the camera. I hope it doesn't make you dizzy. That kind of stuff does make me dizzy, so I apologize. And there we go. Just the way I want it. And then this one has to go through again as well. All right, so there we go. So we've got some other die cutting. So let's try and get multiple things going on here. So let's see, so I'm gonna use, let's do the pink first. So these dies, see that? It's gonna create this, it's got this bar in it so that when you go to layer it, they all layer beautifully. And it's much easier to, it's just not as fiddly, it's much easier to adhere it. So that's what I love about this one. All right, so let's put that one through. So I just kind of chose some coordinating colors that I liked and was playing with it. I cut out a bunch of these for myself and like I said, just kind of started playing around. That's how I came up with this card. And I suggest you do the same. You know, if you've got, this would be pretty for, you know, if you've got a wedding or an event or, you know, something that somebody hosted and you want to thank them for it, you could use their colors from their event to create your thank you card. I think that would be really fun. And then, let's see. I want to fit this in so that I can just go through once. Not that it's really that critical or necessary, but trying to be a good steward of time. And I feel like it saves wear and tear on my cut and emboss machine as well. It doesn't need to go both ways, but I'm gonna do it that way. All right, I'm using a new background here and it's a little slippier. I didn't realize it was gonna happen. So I need 2 of these with in the soft sea foam. So I did a lot of leaves. So I'm going to do another one. And then these are all done. Now that one aside. And then I also have a couple of these little guys here. So let's see, I've got another one of those and another one of those. And put that one through. So when you, this, as I had said, I could have used the small cut and emboss machine on this. But since I had already had it out for the main embossing, I decided to just leave it at that. I have to remember what I did. Okay, and I think I'm gonna use another to poke that out. And then I'm gonna use the gray. I am gonna do, let's see, let's cut this one smaller. That's scrap, because I'm gonna use another one of these and a couple of these. There we go. We're almost done. And thank you for hanging in there with me. I probably should have had all these done beforehand, so the video would be a little shorter. I apologize, but we'll get to it in a minute and I'll show you how to put this all together. Let's see, cut that out. There we go. I want a couple more of those. And we will be good to go. And of course you can make it different every time as well. I'm gonna try and keep it somewhat consistent. But it's really kind of fun. It's a fun way to play and really challenge your creativity. This set caught my eye immediately for that reason. You know, I teach classes and some of the ladies love all the fiddly stuff and some just are frustrated by it. So I felt like this was the perfect combination for them because it's not nearly as fiddly, but you know, it gets this great look. All right, so I think I'm done. Get this guy out of here. All right, move this out of the way. And let's get to assembling this card. So I've got all of these little pieces. I got the second one here. And my die brush to get that guy out. Oh. There we go. So two of those, one of those, and three. One, two, where's that third one? There it is. Okay, so we're gonna put it together. I'm gonna bring in, it's kind of nice to use this little silicone mat when you're gluing everything together. So take those and make sure all the pieces are cut out. You see they cut really nice and easily. And these are gonna be like this. So you see how that bar, I'm just gonna glue those pieces together and then this is gonna go on top like that. So that'll be the top. So you're kind of doing it from back to front. I did it from back to front. So now I just have to decide, I think I want the leaves in the back and I'm gonna want the flowers or this pink kind of in the front. Yep, okay. So I kind of figured out what I wanted to do and now I'm gonna just use some liquid adhesive and I'm just lining up these two banners like that. I mean, is that so easy? Isn't that just fabulous? And then I'm gonna do the same thing to line up the pink, the bubble bath. Another layer. And the set comes with different sizes. So it's got some smaller and some larger so that you can match it to your sentiment. And then I'm gonna put this on dimensional, so I'm gonna wait. And let me think about it for a minute. I want, I think I'm gonna put this one. I'm gonna wait until I put it on my card and then slip these other babies in so that I know where I want them to be. So now I'll go ahead and put this on dimensionals because this is gonna be attached directly to my card. All right, move those over, get that out of the way. Let's assemble the front of the card. So I've got my My background, now I can choose either side of the background. So the embossed side is kind of raised and the debossed side is the other way. So I think because I did the first one with the embossed side raised, I'm gonna try it the other way. Something different. They're really both are very pretty. So you always remember when you're embossing something that you've got that option to use either side. I do like to use liquid glue when I'm embossing because it really captures all those ridges. So just keep that in mind, as opposed to snail, which sometimes doesn't get down into the embossing layers. So there we go. So you can see it comes together pretty quickly once everything is die cut. So that's gonna go there. And then I'm gonna pop this up on dimensionals. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oops, wait, no, you don't need to be there yet. Pick that guy up. I had a hitchhiker. Okay, here we go. So are you, do you like the fiddly stuff, or are you one of those that really prefers to keep it simple? Let me know in the comments which team you're on. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just center that like that. And let's go ahead and put the dimensionals on this. Where are my dimensionals? There we go. Just gonna keep it in the center. And I'm not gonna attach it yet. I'm just lining it up so that I can decide where I want these little things to go. So I'm gonna put these. So now it does get a little fiddly. So if you're on Team Fiddly, it's okay. You will still get something kind of interesting. So I am gonna go ahead and put these two together. So this one's got, so you could leave it, if you're happy, you know, you could just leave it like that and it's beautiful. Well, with a bow, we're gonna put a bow on it. But if you wanna add a little bit extra like I did, because you know, I don't mind the fiddly stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of do that. Put that there. Maybe glue dot would be better. That would be an option. Let's try the next one with the glue dot. Either one will work. Sometimes it's not as messy on your fingers to use the glue dot. So I think I'm gonna actually put this one on there so that it kind of sticks out like that. So I'm gonna put the glue dot on the back of my paper of my, I can't think and talk. I mean, I can think and talk. I can't craft and talk at the same time. It makes it really hard for me. I'm gonna do that, and then when I take that off, of course, that's gonna actually attach as well. Attach that one like that. Now I have to be careful not to put it down. And then I wanted another one of these like little berry things along with it. So I just, see how I just attached that to the back of the dimensional. Yes, I like that. And then I feel like I want a little bit more green down here to kind of balance it out. I think. So I'm gonna put him right there because you're not gonna really see that guy. All right. Gonna put a little glue dot there, put him there. Come on. There we go. All right, and now maybe one more of these guys down here with that. Yep, one more right there. Okay, and now put that on. And then the last thing is we have a little bow. and of course some bling. Here we go. I think I want that right there. So you've got a little bit of dimension. See, this, the green is kind of flat because it's the bottom layer. And then because these are attached to the sentiment box, they're a little bit higher. You can see that they're raised up a little bit. And I do have one more of these guys. Let's see. Maybe I'll put that down there. And I can just attach a little bit of glue there and lift that up. Put him right in there. Come on, Dad. Well, he's staying down low. That's okay, that works. Do I need one more of these? Maybe one more here. All right, so now, so you can see how you can kind of get the base going, and then you can slip these other guys in once it's all done, and you see if there's anything missing. There we go. Kind of fill that little hole. But I left some white space. I think it's important to leave some white space as well. And then, I love this little bubble bath ribbon. Look at how pretty it is. It's got this little shimmer. You see it? It's got a shimmer, and then it's also got the silver on the end of it. And I am just basically gonna make a little bow. I'm gonna do the bunny ears bow. Give myself a little bit more room. Create a little bow. This could be a bow, it could be a knot. I don't want it too big because I don't want to overwhelm the card. Everything is kind of delicate and dainty. So I think that's good right there. And I can kind of move those aside, kind of fiddle with it a little bit to get it nice and tight. And then let's bring in some scissors. And we're gonna cut a little bit on an angle. Let's see. There we go. I think that's good, right? And I do like to use glue dots with my ribbons. I think they hold the best. So put that glue dot there, put that ribbon. So this is, this comes in a set. It's the sheer ribbon combo pack. It comes with the blue, I can't remember, and the lemon lolly, and yeah, it's part of the sheer ribbon combo pack. It's really a pretty ribbon, and they all have that silvery border to it. And then last but not least, these are the Tinsel Gems 3-pack, and I wrote on here so I would remember which colors, because a lot of our colors are really similar. Lost Lagoon, Fresh Freesia, and Misty Moonlight. Really pretty colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach some of those. So I want you to kind of take a notice. See how light in color these are? It's really a different, almost a different color than the bubble bath. That doesn't bother me, but if it, you know, those are the ones that I did with the glycerin pen, right? So if that, you know, maybe is something that you're not crazy about, I'll bring in the other ones so you can see, then you might want to make sure you invest in the markers or try something else. I don't have the blends yet either, so that would be another option you can do. But you can see how this original card, I did use just the markers, and they are a little bit brighter. Still not exactly the same color, but definitely a little bit brighter. I don't know, do you have a preference? And then, you know, you can always add a little wink of Stella. Because I had the silver in there, I thought it was kind of fun to add a little wink of Stella to this bubble bath here. And you could certainly add it in here as well, right? You do have to be a little careful so that the wink of Stella doesn't pick up the ink on your, and then transfer it. So like I had to be careful not to touch the gray. You can't see those anyway, so I don't have to worry about them. But I'm just doing a little bit of ink right here, a little bit of wink of Stella to give it a little more sparkle. Everybody has to have a little sparkle in their life, right? That's my opinion. Anyway, what do you think? Thanks for joining me today. I hope you've maybe picked up a new little trick for yourself. If you'd like to see more of my videos, I'd love for you to like my video, follow my video, or whether you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube, I try to post at least one a week, something new. Most often it's cards that we do in my class. If you're in the Greensboro, Georgia area, I'd love to have you join me at one of my classes. I also offer classes to go if you're not close. And if you'd like to join my mailing list, you can find out about my classes to go. Kind of gives you another option. They tend to be a little simple, sweet and simple, some simple folds and fancy, fun folds. And usually I use just one stamp set so that you can either purchase that stamp set or use what you have on your own. I try to make them, as I said, kind of simple. I provide all of the die cuts. So for example, if this was a class to go, all the die cutting would be done for you. You would just have to add your own ink and stamps, your sentiments. So thanks again for joining me. I hope to see you again soon, and have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.